Welcome back to the talk show. We're back from our Winter Olympics hiatus. I'm Jason Takhtadjian, your host, and I'm joined by a very special guest today. He is the one and only Yura Movsisyan. Yura, how are you doing today, man?
Good, good, brother. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, especially to have you. I'm so thankful to have you on. This is not our first time talking. I talked to you last year during the Armenian basketball game in LA. But again, it's always a pleasure to have you. What have you been up to? Talk to me about what a typical
What
weekend looks like for you in 2026.
what a weekend looks like. A lot of driving cars and a lot of driving my kids to their competitions. As you know, we were supposed to meet maybe a week ago or a couple weeks back,
Yeah.
but my older daughter had a volleyball tournament come up, and today my youngest daughter has gymnastics competition. So a lot of driving, a lot of driving Uber for my kids.
Hmm.
Uh, my wife has a good joke. She does Uber Kids.
Uber kids.
She's gonna start Uber Kids, yeah. So
What's that been like for you too as a dad, growing up, seeing the kids growing up and kind of
it
adjusting, life to have them be, the focal point.
they are the focal points. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. It's so it's so beautiful to see them grow. And me and my wife were very hands-on, meaning we're always there, we're always at their games, we're always at their practices, tournaments. So it's beautiful to see their growth, and it's beautiful to see little humans turn into young kids, and then now teenagers. So
Mhm.
it's
That's
it's it's
awesome.
beautiful. Beautiful.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you, because I grew up watching you play for the Armenian national team in the MLS, in the Russian league. I mean, I cannot forget literally skipping music class in back in high school to watch
Yeah.
you guys beat Denmark, and I will never forget that. I will never forget that as a memory of mine. I mean, for you personally, I know that you're in very involved now in youth, athletics, youth soccer in the Southern California area. What does your day to day look like when it comes to that? Like, how are you trying to grow the next generation?
See, what I do today is I'm doing a bit of different things. A bit of, coaching my son, not coaching, but mentoring my son, who plays soccer. But also I work with the youth, and my day to day is usually very filled with a lot of meetings, a lot of talking to parents, a lot talking to kids, and also obviously the past 6 months has been very busy day to
Yes.
day because finally finished and published my first book. It's called Dust and Dreams, which I wish you could have attended the release party.
I
But
wish.
yeah, this is sort of everything I do today is to help the next generation, to help kids growing up, and to get them the info that we have, that I experienced. As you mentioned, while you skipped class to watch our games. And with that came a lot of experience. With my career came a lot of experience, good and bad. And for me, my job today and my mission today is to um, translate that and let the next generation know of the beautiful things that are happening, also of the difficult things.
I want to
And
dive into that with you
yeah,
if you don't mind, because I want to
no.
first talk about, some of, maybe the good things first, and then kind of transition to the not so good things. First of all, talk to me about, those sort of maybe the highlights in your career, in your playing career that, were probably the highs, and what did you learn from that you are trying to pass down, whether it's in your book or with the one-on-ones?
And the highlights. Obviously, for the highlights, there were a few. For me, number one highlight was turning professional at 18 years old out of high school. and then going on and winning MLS Cup in '09 with Real Salt Lake, and then obviously moving to Europe. But the highlight of the highlights is obviously playing for Armenia, representing your nation, representing Armenia, playing club team and achieving certain things at club team is beautiful, but playing, representing a whole nation, and you don't do it for, anything else other than pride. That was the biggest pride. And, so I would say there were a lot of highlights in my career, playing career. And then on a personal side, obviously being married for 19 years and having 3 kids. I don't want to admit it, but my son has definitely passed me with his height.
Wow.
It's difficult to admit, but it's reality had just swept, you know.
Mhm. I was going to ask you about the Armenian pride. I love that you brought that up. Can you tell me about what it is, your kind of your background and your upbringing that really solidified the Armenian pride that you have and you carried into the Armenian national team and try to pass down to the next generation?
Look, I felt, us Armenians, obviously we're spread around the world for obvious reasons,
Hmm.
obvious historical reasons. So for me, it's very, and the beautiful thing about the US, about the United States of America is it is built on immigrants. It is built with a lot of like, immigrants. And for me, it was just about living the American dream, but not forgetting where I come from
Yes.
or who I am or what I represent
Mhm.
or, uh, and everything I do today is a mirror of what I want my kids to grow up being, grow up doing, the type of people I want them to become. So that comes with a lot of responsibility, which, I don't have a problem with, having responsibilities to lead by example and not forget who you are, not forget your, where you come from and what you come from,
Right.
you know. So it's very it's very interesting. I'll tell you that to
Absolutely.
be able to balance, representing who you are in the US and staying true to yourself, staying true to your values and your beliefs and your, you know, so it's fun.
Absolutely. Now, with the positives in your career, you also mentioned that there are some, downfalls and some negatives in the career. But, I see that more as, learning opportunities for you to overcome. And I wanted to talk to you about that too, specifically as well with the Armenian national team because of just how much that meant to you. What were the biggest challenge or the biggest challenge that you faced with the Armenian national team? And do you remember how you came
Yeah.
back and how you overcame that?
There were a lot of there were a lot of challenges. Um, Nobody can hide that. I believe that what we did with our national team, it was a shock to people. Not many people expected it, or in the beginning couldn't even believe it that it was true, you know. But I think until everybody came to a realization that yes, this is real, and yes, we have an opportunity that we've never had in our history, and there were a lot of ups and downs. And
Mhm.
let's not forget, all of the players on, our teams were very young.
Mhm.
The core group was extremely young. So we were
Right.
very reckless too, which is a good thing in soccer.
Mhm.
We didn't care about people's opinions. We literally didn't care about who we were playing against. We were arrogant, which was a very beautiful thing. I remember myself and every other player on the team. We would go get on the field very, proud and very, like not being afraid who
Yeah.
the other team is. So I think there were a lot of learning experiences, obviously, with it. And, at a certain point, I believe there was a lot more pressure than we should have had.
Mm,
But at the same time, you have to learn to play with pressure.
right. Pressure makes diamonds, right?
It does. Only pressure makes diamonds.
So I guess I could ask you about the Armenian national team today. I mean, what's your assessment of the team overall, and more specifically when it comes to the position that you played as a striker? I mean,
Yeah.
what do you see as maybe positives and rooms for improvement?
I mean, there's a lot of positives, a lot of room to improve, but I think first and foremost, we as fans, we as a nation, we have to um, get behind our team. No, and I know it's difficult, and I know it's just human nature when you lose or when things are not going right. Difficult. It's difficult to support, but for me, this is the exact time we need to support them.
Hmm.
You know, this is the exact time we need to truly believe and be that 12th man on the field for the team and not put them down more than they are already. This
Hmm.
is the exact time where we should give them energy. We should we should be supporting them and supporting the coach and supporting the players because I do believe they're on the right track right now. They truly are on the right track.
Yeah.
With the new coach coming in, with new belief coming in, with the um, new energy.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very positive.
And I think you mentioned part of it right there, which the new head coach, Yeri Melikian, he I think has definitely helping change the culture there. I was going to ask you about your relationship with him, how you kind of know him, and how far back you guys go.
Um, I mean, obviously, I've only known him through his playing career back then.
Hmm.
We haven't really had we've only met in person a couple of times. But I have a lot of respect for him and for the job he does
Hmm.
and for the way he does his job.
Got you.
You know, and I do believe that he's somebody that type of personality is something that we need today. Literally, it's that supporting his players, protecting his players, not letting outside influence affect his players.
Hmm.
And I do believe that this group of players, especially now, they do need that type of a coach to be protecting them from outside so they can really get things on track within each other, within the team, and be able to produce.
Absolutely. You got guys like Edward Spurzian who are still young. Now there's a new kid from Sunderland's U18 program, Finn Garagusian. He's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, beautiful to
adding to
see.
the friendlies roster coming up, which is really exciting to see kind of the growth with the Armenian national team and the diaspora too.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is going to take time. This is going to take time until we have new kids coming up. Like Finn, I've seen, some of the goals he scored. His size is beautiful. I mean, he's a big kid. You know, we need fearless, how do I say it? We need fearless hooligans at the forward position. We need somebody that just does not care
Yeah.
about people's opinions. We need somebody that's gonna just worry about scoring goals. And we need somebody that is not gonna get emotional,
Hmm.
and is not gonna worry about his emotions. We need somebody that is gonna be cutthroat, just scoring goals. He's there to because at the end of the day, I truly believe that, if my mindset when I used to play was I don't want to use other words, but I could care less what people thought, what people said. I knew what I had to do and I knew how to do it. So, whether I scored one game or not, I didn't get all emotional about it because I could care less. I was doing my job. I was there to do a job and, you know, so I think we need to take the emotions out of it and have somebody, and the players have really focused on just doing their job. Simple as that. Go out there and play. Don't worry about what's going to happen after, or don't worry what's going to happen in 2 games. Just play, just enjoy the game right now.
It's important. There's a terminology you're saying like having short-term memory in sports is a
Yeah,
very
you
big
have
thing.
to. You have to have short-term memory and don't give a damn about anything.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's believe me, because they're doing a job, and so nobody's life depends on this, man. They're not, we need to understand that this is a game. Let's not forget it's a game. So go out there and enjoy it, play the game. And you do well, you do well. You don't do well, you have an opportunity to learn from it and, come back and do another one.
And you know it better than most people, right? Whenever you're in the moment and you're playing for the national team, sometimes you don't realize just how short that time is, right? You don't get to really enjoy it in the moment until you're like,
Yes.
oh man, I'm towards the end here.
That is the only thing that I regret, from my time at the national team is, didn't enjoy it enough,
Mm.
and because of all the, everything, all the stuff that was happening in the country and everything that was happening, you know, I wish I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But I mean, it was so beautiful. And I think, the players now, they have to really understand to just enjoy it, man.
Now, with all of these experiences that you've learned through life, through sports, I want to go back to the book and talk about
Yeah.
this book, Dust and Dreams, because this is quite the undertaking for you. Just tell me about how this idea first came about. Like, when did you first think about, the storytelling aspect and and having the idea of bringing a book to life?
So it's interesting. My friend, good friend, and my co-author, Razmik Arabian, uh, we work at the same office. He works with me, and for about 2.5, 3 years, he came up. I've known him for 26 years. And then after I retired and moved back, and then he was in Armenia, he moved back. We started working together, and he kept asking me, "Let's write a book. Let's write a book." And it was something that it was always in the back of my mind. How am I gonna tell my story? How am I gonna tell uh, or give back in a sense, by telling the story? And, for 3 years, I wouldn't agree to it. I would always be, say, yeah, 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 we'll do it, we'll do it, we'll do it. And then one day, I told him, Raz, let's write a book. And his reaction was literally priceless. He was like, 3 years I've been telling you to write a book. And you came up to me, you act like that was your idea. I said, no, let's do it. So he helped me write it.
Yeah.
He helped me write it. I mean, he put this whole thing together. And the reason why we did it in the format we did it, in a fiction sense, so it's easier for kids to understand. And, so a lot of these stories, let me just make it clear, this is not an autobiography.
Mhm.
Okay, this is not. It's just stories from my childhood, in the book with my family, so it's very interesting, and every kid, everybody that's read, there's a lot of historical mentions in there about Armenians and Armenia, and also about some of my experiences um, in my childhood, different stages. And this is going to be a series of 5 books.
Hmm.
So the first
Wow.
one, this one, Dust and Dreams, this is taking place in Gyumri.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is taking place in Gyumri. And then the next stage will be taking place in Europe.
Okay.
Uh, and I don't want to give up too much info, but the third one is most likely going to be the US.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
it's going
like
to be,
that's really interesting. That's exciting to just be
yeah.
looking forward to like more and more books.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely gonna, this book, or the books, the series is definitely gonna hit every stage of my career or life. and family and kids. And obviously, the last one is going to be retirement
Hmm.
post. So it's very interesting. I've got a lot of good information that I definitely think it's going to be interesting for people to hear, listen to, and also understand the road it took me to where I got to.
Wow. I mean, tell me about the feedback that you've gotten so far from the book.
The feedback is amazing. Um, the feedback is here. I'll read you one of the feedbacks, okay?
Okay, okay.
I won't name the person.
That's
Uh,
exciting.
all right. She wrote, Yura, I pulled your book out of the mailbox before I went to work today. Brought it to my office and just read it in one setting. I love the stories between the ladder and the cat and breaking the window. And I just cried here in my office reading the epilogue because one, it reminds me of what my dad said to me before he passed in August. And it has the shared immigrant first generation US born messaging. Thank you for the kind, inspiring note. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's powerful.
it is. It is. And there's hundreds of more messages like that, that it's this book is not just for kids, Every person that reads this book will find themselves in it, will find a story that they were involved in, at every age, every generation, my age, older, So it's something that is very beautifully put together. And, maybe one day this could turn into a cartoon, you
Oh,
know,
that would be awesome. Animated, right?
animated. And I'll show you, hold on, let me turn the camera around and I'll
All
show you
right.
a painting of the book. Here.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice.
Yes.
That's
So,
so neat. And it fits the whole design of the office very well.
yes, it does. It does. All right, let's get back to
Turn it back.
turn back.
But that's awesome. That's really cool. And then you mentioned it a little bit earlier that you did have a private event for the book. Just tell
Yes.
me about what that was like as well. Not just having, a lot of friends and people who are connected to you in this world of sports, but also having, your parents there, your family there too.
Yeah, it was I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful event. It was beautifully put together by friends of mine, Luis Gill and Philip, my brother, my wife's brother, and then also Razmik. It was a beautiful event of just showcasing the stories. I don't like events. I don't, go to too many of them. And it
Mhm.
was kind of weird to have it be my event, but I, loved everybody that attended. I had a lot of family and a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues that were there. And I thought it was a beautiful event, beautifully emceed by Jacqueline, who did a beautiful job. She was funny as hell. And yeah, everything at that event was just beautiful, just because this is, the way I look at it, the way we look at it is this is a true story. This is not made up, so and everything I do, I keep it original. I make sure that it is you know, original. So it was a beautiful event that was put together.
That is awesome.
I
I
wish you could
definitely
have
need to get
attended. I
myself a
know you
book.
got you were sick, you couldn't attend, but I wish you would
Yeah,
have
I
attended.
was unable to attend. I really need to get my hands on a copy. That needs to happen ASAP. If anybody watching at home wants to get a copy, what should they do?
They just go to yuramovsisyan.com and we could put a link. The book is in my website. So if they just go to yuramovsisyan.com and they can get the book. And I'll be signing your copy and I'll send it to you.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate that.
And
No,
I
thank you so much.
I actually believe yours is signed.
Oh,
I had signed some books for people attending. So yours is should be signed, and we'll you just have to send me an address, and we'll mail it over to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll make sure that I have that at the desk at the station
Yeah.
too. I'm gonna make sure I have that and show it to
Thank-
everybody that, hey, look,
thank-
I got his book and it's signed.
Yeah, no, no, I'll definitely sign it and send it over to you,
That
sir.
is awesome. Look, I know that you said that you have four more books coming out.
Yeah.
That's going to be through time, but with the books and the storytelling that you are doing, just kind of want to wrap this up and ask you, in the next 5 years or so, like kind of what are you aiming to achieve? Because after your playing career, you're definitely not stopping. You're still being active. You're still doing things, but what are some other goals that you have?
See, there's a few projects that I'm working with. Number one is obviously being a dad.
Hmm.
My immediate goals are to make sure my kids get the best possible opportunities to achieve what they want to achieve. And that starts with my 16-year-old son, to make sure that he wants to become a soccer player. So I'm giving him, he's training every day to become one.
That's awesome.
And then my daughters are, one, Ida, who just turned 14, she plays volleyball,
Hmm.
uh, pretty competitive. She's amazing.
What position?
She is an outside hitter.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Nice.
she's crazy. And then my youngest daughter, who has competition today, she does rhythmic gymnastics, and she's
Mm.
very competitive as well. So my immediate goal is my kids. But at the same time, on the side, we're also working with to bring a USL team to LA.
That would
So
be
bring a
awesome.
third professional team to Los Angeles, and I'm working with, Harry, who's the owner of ASLA.
Hmm.
So announcements will come out soon. We're working on the project right now together, and I'm co-owner of the team, so we'll be announcing and getting it out there as well. And at the same time, I'm also working with uh, Leona Valley Recovery Center, which is a drug rehab. I'm a mentor there, so I help people. I mentor people as well when they're, going through difficult times, and how to come off from drugs, and mental health. So I'm very interested in that aspect of life as well. Myself going through the whole surgeries, I've had 10 plus surgeries, being on pain pills for, later on in my career. So once, I came out of that situation, that was a lot of experience for me. And I'm a true believer, and true believer in that, with the right help, you can get out. You can, change your life around. So I'm also working with, different facilities to help people in whatever way I can, um, to get out of difficult situations. So
Wow.
pretty busy.
Pretty busy indeed, and
Pretty
that's very
busy.
commendable, Yura. That's awesome that you're doing that, and also helping a lot of people that go through those
Yes.
difficulties, especially people who are athletes. People don't tend to realize that mental health is a big, big
It,
obstacle.
it is. It's interesting because the person that helped me and changed my life was Dr. Samvel Hayrapetyan, and I truly believe he's not human. I, to this day, I don't, because, he's the one that really brought God into my life, the
Mhm.
understanding of God, and God's existence and how God works. So, um, it's beautiful to see that there are people out there. There is somebody like him out there
Wow.
who, literally changed my life with words, and it had nothing to do with medicine. It was words. It
Wow.
was the right words, and so we're doing a lot of work together with Dr. Samba, as well, for the community to help people, get out of difficult situations.
Wow. Wow, the
So
right words really do go a long way.
it's the right words, and it has nothing to do with medicine. you know.
Wow.
It is literally, God's existence, truly believing that God exists, and
Yeah.
how God works, or how everything works. So it's I'm at a beautiful place in my life right now, where, having gone through difficulties, he helped me understand that I had to see, God wanted me to see those difficulties. God wanted me to see the negatives, the depression, whatever it was,
Right.
and it was for a purpose. And now I understand what that purpose is, and now I understand what my mission in life is.
Wow. That's really commendable, Yura. Thank you so much for being on this show. I wish I could talk to you for another hour, but we are running out of
Yes,
time. Thank you again for being on the show, and I really do look forward to reading that book. Thank you again for
it's coming out. It's coming
signing
out
that.
to you. Monday we'll send it out.
You're the best, Yura. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
I look forward to everything that you achieve, and hopefully one day we'll meet in person once again.
Definitely.